Welcome back to Got Her Back podcast. What episode is this?
Cinco.
Oh, number 5.
Ladies, I feel like we need to start with prayer today.
Wait, what are we doing today?
Let's start with a prayer today.
Okay.
Okay?
You gonna lead
Ready?
this prayer?
I got it.
Dude.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here.
For the death of this
Carrie's house
and marriage.
Yep, that's right.
Right?
I would say it's a death. It's like a new beginning.
It is a new beginning, but this house is done.
I know. It makes me so sad.
Oh, it doesn't make me
we
sad.
won't be neighbors anymore.
Oh, that does make me sad.
So to bring everyone up to speed, we are at Carrie's home today. We are having a funeral for her home because she's selling it in her divorce. Whoop! We're like 2 weeks from close. And so, we just thought we'd come over here and do a little sage,
For the next family.
Right.
Make sure
Make sure
all the
all
good
the-
bad vibes are gone.
Yeah.
Remove all the bad vibes.
Yeah.
No bad juju. You can't have any of that. I mean, I'm out on that. I'm out on bad juju.
I can't take y'all seriously with these. I gotta take them off.
We're at a funeral. We have to be
We're out of funeral.
Incognito.
So guys, seriously. So I moved into this house 3.5 years ago.
2020.
Yeah, whenever I was filed for divorce the last time.
That's right.
So the one thing that I am like sad about is I was proud that I did it all by myself, like as a woman. So I will say that I was really proud of that, like going through the whole process, approval,
It's stressful,
It's
but
very-
for you to do it by
but
yourself.
to do it by yourself without anybody, that
Yeah.
felt like a major accomplishment for me. But I will say I always knew when I bought the house it wouldn't be like a forever home. It was just like a landing spot. I knew it in my heart. I said it multiple times. I think I told you a lot.
Right.
But I'm excited to be done with it. It's like my last little
Yeah.
tie.
I'll tell you why this house didn't work out. Because it didn't have a bathtub. I told you. I told you when you were looking at this house.
I'm sorry, your marriage didn't work because you was missing a bathtub.
That's why.
You don't have a bathtub in the master bathroom. Like, who does it? I can't do that.
So Megan was looking at houses with me when I was like, okay, I gotta get out. So first of all, let me back up. My last time I filed for divorce before this time, we cohabitated for 7 months. And I'm so sure somebody on this podcast can relate. That was like the worst thing I've ever done in my whole life. One was upstairs, one was downstairs, and you have to like act like you scoot by people, in the
Yeah.
hallway, like you don't know them. You're like, excuse me, sorry. Like it's very
it's real
awkward.
It's real life. Like, I mean,
it's
talking about divorce, there's a lot of women that get, go through separations, have to go through a divorce, and they don't work. They have no source of income. So fortunate enough for me and you, Carrie, like going through separations and a divorce, we were able to provide for ourselves. So that is one less thing that I feel like, that we have to stress about because, we can provide for ourselves and our kids. There are a lot of women that cannot. And I know that has to be very tough because feeling like you're stuck in a situation just between, like for the emotions and wanting to try to keep your family together and then adding finances on top of that, that's a whole other level.
Because, right, like there's so many like stay-at-home moms that are working their butt off, but they can't show that that they have the income and can take care of themselves. So they are stuck, right? Essentially. So I watched my mom do that, not in this marriage, but the marriage with my dad. And I think that was like a huge part of it. Like she just she didn't trust herself on her own, like to be able to fully do it on her own. So that was something I just had to rip off the Band-Aid and go for it. And that's why I was so excited when I got this house because I was like, okay, I did it. But Megan came with me to look at it and I was like, okay, I think I was rushing because I was just so over the cohabitating part that I was like, I just really wanted to get it done, and it was an inventory home. It had already been built.
It's so beautiful. I remember being able to, this was not planned whatsoever, but I only live like down the street from you. But being able to see your house when I was driving down the street, but now I can't even see your house.
Yeah, there's so many.
It's
there's
time.
so much growth.
It's time to go.
It's time to
It's time to go.
It's time to go. We have get out of here. It really is. It's like my house was just standing here alone.
By itself.
Yeah.
How you used
Which
to be
was
like,
very scary when I first moved in because I felt like I was in a fishbowl. Like there was nothing out here. It was just dark, like stars, which was nice, but also scary when you're living by yourself alone.
Yeah. So 3.5 years later.
Yeah, I'm out.
What's next? What do you have?
I'm moving in with my boyfriend.
What?
I'm moving in with Megan.
Besties.
Until the end of the school year, and I'm moving in with my boo.
Can you move out before, like, what if we sell our house and me and my family are homeless? We about to.
Yeah, better come over.
Come over. What? No, don't tell me when your address don't show up. Like, we're gonna edit that out.
Oh,
Beep.
Megan's like the transition home.
Yes, she is transitional housing.
Because I was like,
Yep.
She's done it before for people. That's how she talked me into doing it this time. Because she kept telling me,
your house
I was
is ginormous.
I was stressing, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And she was like, girl, come over here. I told you. And I thought she was kidding at first, and I was like blowing her off. And then she called me like several times. Hey, did you think about it? Like, I'm really serious. Like, I think it would be really good for both of us to just, have each other to lean on. And like, I like crawling in her bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
We have coffee in the morning.
We have coffee. I can make her coffee in the
You
morning.
do make really, really good coffee.
I was a barista in my past life. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it.
We'll drink to that.
But anyways, I'm excited. I'm excited about moving in with my man. But I will say, I've never moved in with somebody like
That's
that's established, like that's their territory. You know what I mean?
It's like,
So I'm finding my way. So it's fun to like I've slowly been moving things and kind of like feeling my way. Like it's even weird feeling your way around someone's kitchen if you've never done it. You got to like open all the cabinets and drawers and you feel like, I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure G is like very
He is. He's
welcoming and will allow you to do what women do.
He is. He's like, get in there. Like, get in there.
He's like, decorate the kids'
He's
rooms.
like, do whatever. Like, he's like, so he's amazing. So he's like, whatever, like he wanted, which is nice. Like, I think this is something to chat about too that women can relate to. I'm moving into a space that he's never lived with a woman in. So I feel like that's a nice little cherry on top, right? Because if I was moving in there,
I'd want
where him and like his ex-wife lived or something like that, I feel like that would be very different for me. But me just knowing that's been his place for the last 6 years, just him and his daughter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's just, we're just, we combined our closets last
This girl is in love.
I've been struggling with that because when I built my house, I stayed very humble. I stayed in my house before the house that I'm in now, for 10 plus years because I told myself I'm not going to build a house or buy another house until I can get everything that I want. So in my mind, when I went to the house I'm in now, it was my dream home. I, got the pool, I got the media room, every little detail that I wanted, I decorated it myself. And now that I'm separated, I'm like, I've got to go and create a new dream, right? Like,
because I bet it feels.
You want to move?
I'm going to have to.
It feels, you've been there for years, so it's like the memories there of you guys together. So I can understand that.
And I don't feel like any good man is going to want to move into a home where you've lived with another man,
And even if they say it doesn't bother them, it might.
Right.
Right.
And you just don't even want that. You want a fresh start. You want a clean slate.
I'm excited to see what you do.
Ooh. It's kind of scary.
You want to be my neighbor?
Your new house.
You can be my neighbor.
Oh, I could come.
Or you could come be my neighbor.
Come and be my neighbor.
Come be my neighbor. Y'all, I don't know anybody where
But it's just, I saw this video the other day and it was like, they were talking about like losing a parent. But this is kind of like you're losing a spouse. You're losing.
It's grief. For sure.
So they said I could never be that person. You're right. You can never be that person. You have to embrace the new
person.
Because that's the old you, the person that you had with someone else. You will never be that person.
Interesting, because I feel like mine and yours has been way different. I feel like you've had to grieve your way through the divorce, where I feel like I grieved
Through
a year or two before.
Yeah, like we were
because
kind of like not on timing for there. Like I think a lot of things were like similar, but you had already been through what I was going through, so then you were so helpful to help me to navigate, which was such a blessing, right? So because you had already been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and so I was like, when I would be struggling, you would be able to tell me like, Megan, this is what you need to do, or here's how you navigate that. And so grief is, we've talked about this, I know, in previous episodes, and I know I've talked about it. There are many stages to grief, anger being one of them, denial. When I lost my son, which is like kind of off topic, but
it's grief.
it's grief, right? But losing a marriage and losing a husband and losing what you thought was your forever, it's grief. And you go through the stages and you may bounce from one and go back to another, all of the above, So it's rough. It's not easy. I don't wish divorce on any family or any wife or any husband or the kids. The kids, they struggle for sure. And it's been a process. It's been a process of learning. Every day I get up and, put my t-shirt and brush my teeth and what can I do different today? What can I do different today than yesterday to help me to grow, to help me to be a better mom for my kids? And not only do you grieve, it's like if they have a family, dynamics change, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not the same. And so it's rough. It's rough for all parties involved. And what I learned in co-parenting class, of all things, was that,
you're taking class.
Yeah, the court mandates it.
It's
but,
required.
It's required. But I would say it's very helpful because you learn things. Like there were simple things that I learned to not say to my daughter. Like it says to not say, I'm going to miss you, to just tell her, I love you. So I've been making it, adamant that I don't tell her I miss her whenever it's going to be like today's her day with her dad. And so I didn't tell her I'm going to miss you. Or when I'm on the phone now, I don't tell her that because it is something about saying you miss them that it can trigger a kid. Aww. And so you just tell them like, hey, I love you. So I actually learned quite a few things. I would recommend anybody, even if you're not court ordered, to go through a co-parenting class. They have it. It's called Between Two Homes online. It's like $40. It's super affordable. And it's really helpful.
That's good advice.
Yeah. And other things I learned were like, sometimes people are at different stages in grief, right? Because sometimes,
we're all different.
Right. So how you had already processed, like, you had been processing. I would say mentally I had been preparing, for 1 to 2 years, to try to leave. I had been trying. I just felt like I was like at the end of my rope. And I felt like I was on the edge of a cliff. And if someone just went, ding, I was going to jump off. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that is not a good place to be in. Mm-hmm. And so I know.
We would not let that happen. We'd be in the bed like, Megan, don't you?
I know. So like you have to understand that like where I am, there's also a shock factor to grief too, right? So like others around me, like maybe I was ready, but then you're dealing with the other parties that are still in shock. And so you've got to let them and give them time, right? Catch up and get through their grief. So that was eye-opening for me. And sometimes, you just need to sit in the quiet and sit in the good and then hope and pray that things are going to get better.
I'm telling you what, like, that's like the key to it for me. Like there's so many times where I felt like I wanted to stick it out just because A, I'm loyal, and B, I just thought if I ever get married, like that's it. Just because I've seen my parents go through many marriages and divorces. They've been married multiple times. So I knew if I do this, I'm not going to like get a divorce, was like something I would tell myself. But and that's what I would kind of cling to. That's why I gave it like so many opportunities through like all the challenges that we had. Like I kept like pushing through and pushing through and pushing through. But the more that I would like try to work on my relationship with God, I would literally be by myself a lot of times. I was alone a lot of times. That was like a huge part of it, right? Like I was by myself all the time. So I like clung on to that. Y'all saw my Bible studies and
that one I never showed up.
All that Maria crashed and burned out.
No, not just Maria. It was a lot. And I don't know. I just had lots of times. Actually, I sat right here a lot of times, like by my fireplace, like with my Bible, and just like spending time. And then I learned like, you know, like those are the times that we grow the most when we're alone, right? So, and I
mean,
think
that's
that's why
when
it says
God
be still. Like,
that's when
it
God can
says,
speak through
be
you.
still, be still, be still.
Mhm.
And the only thing it says in the Bible, what I learned about choosing your partner was like the only thing it says about choosing your partner is to choose somebody you can go to war with. And I did not feel like that was my marriage. You know what I mean? I felt like I was alone. I didn't feel like I had a teammate. I felt like we were so polar opposite. Like he had an opinion, I had to, like, it was just not working. And then you throw in specific things that it says in the Bible that, like, if this happens, like, God is not for this, for your marriage. And so I feel like, okay, I'm clinging to God, but God loves marriage. So that's what I kept telling myself, like, be an advocate. Kept telling you, like, push for your marriage. I'm push for my marriage. It's because I was really diving into my relationship with God. You know what I mean? And so I felt like it would be a disappointment, like a divorce, like I'd have to say that I had a divorce and all that things. But when you go through specific things, like God doesn't want that for you, in my opinion. Like it can be translated a million different ways. But for me, God is about happiness and love and everything. And that's not what he would want for me. I'm his daughter, so I don't think that that would be like his view on how he would want my life to be. Sitting here by myself begging somebody to have dinner with me or have a conversation with me or, you know, not do specific things to me. Like, I don't think that's what God wants for his daughter.
Absolutely.
And that's not what I wanted to mimic to my daughter, because I remember like going to counseling and everything and her asking me, like, is this something you want for Maddox? Is this something that you see for Maddox? And it was a hell no, you know? It was
it's rough.
If it wasn't like a full body yes, like for me, like it was a no, like no, because I emulated things that I saw, like your kids are going to emulate what they see, you know, and all that. So I'm so glad you went to co-parenting classes and things like that. I tell my kids all the time, like, I'm going to miss you. And I try to like manipulate him into like missing me more than him.
Don't do that.
I'm like, do you miss me more than him? No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do
Kinda.
that. Yeah.
I think that would fail your.
Yeah. That would be called a detractor. You would be a detractor.
Oh, I'm definitely
be
a detractor.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to do that. And be
I'm
honest,
joking.
like
I don't do that.
No.
I tell them have a great time and all that, but I think it. I think it in my mind.
You know,
your kid, your all.
having a son and a daughter, it's different, right? And so I know with Taryn, I just wanted him to have a chance at two parents, right? That's what I longed for. I didn't have, you know, because of death and, you know, circumstances, I didn't have a chance at two parents growing up. And I wanted that so bad for my son.
So you're like clinging, like
Right.
white knuckling it.
Right. And so when I had my daughter, it's like awful. Like it's awful to say, like, why didn't I have these feelings like for Taryn? Because you know, with a daughter, you think like, oh my goodness, like I don't want her to think that this is what a marriage is, you know? And so, but I should have wanted that for my son, you know, and it's not that I didn't, it just was like different, right? Like I wanted Taryn to have a chance at two parents, and not that I didn't want a chance for Spencer to have two parents in the home. I wanted anything for my marriage to work. I stuck it out for almost 20 years because I loved who I was with. And even though the way they treated me, it doesn't change my heart. Like I've been struggling with that. Like, was I in love? Did I love him? Did I, you know, yes, I did.
Yes.
I did, because those circumstances I were in doesn't change how I feel about somebody. Those are my feelings to have. Yes, I loved him. Yes, I was in love with him. Yes, I thought he was my person. All of the above. But, you know, moving forward, sometimes you're just not a good fit. You're just not a good fit, and you have to understand that, like, you know.
Or God makes you realize,
Right.
God puts things to light, like,
this isn't for you.
You know, I have something else better.
And maybe
for
they
you.
just had a spot there for a while,
Yeah.
you know, to
Like a
teach you something
placeholder.
and give you your children and
Yeah.
all the things. Like you could just have to appreciate like what it was when it was, right?
And I'll
But
never.
can I just say,
What?
it's so much better to be in a better relationship.
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Did you?
And he's such a good cook. He's always like
Did
feeding
you?
me and like hanging out with me and laughing with me and like rushing like to get to me, like, you know what I mean? Like wanting to
be with you.
Affectionate,
Yeah.
emotionally intelligent, like got my back, like whatever it is, like I feel like this is going to sound crazy, but I feel like he knows me so much more just because we conversate, so much better and so much more. Like he already knows like so much more about me just because I feel way more comfortable.
Did you, when you were going through, your separation, did you expect yourself to bounce back
No.
this quick? Like, because I remember you and I were walking.
Is my bounce back strong?
Your bounce back is strong,
It's strong
and built like, I don't know,
strong,
like concrete. What's strong? Is concrete strong? I don't know.
Yeah, it is strong, girl. You're getting a house built on concrete over there.
The reason why I
foundation.
My feet for so long was me doubting and fear. Like, will I regret? Will I miss him? Will my kids be okay? Will my kids suffer? It was mainly like
hope,
that.
like holding on to hope, hoping that it just somehow turn around and be okay.
But knowing in my heart for years that it wouldn't, if that makes any sense. Like I knew it wouldn't, but like I was just like too scared to try it and too scared on what it would do to my children. But I will say, I cried with you on the phone when I told you, right? Yes. When I called you. That was the last time I have cried. Like, I never once cried again. I mean, I cried when I lost my dog.
Yeah.
But is that bad?
Well,
I don't know.
I cried harder.
But it's a chapter that
I was just so thankful that my kids gave me so much grace, and that my kids felt they were sad. Of course, like Kason cried for a second, because he was sad and when I would ask him, why is he crying? He would say, I'm sad for what happened to you, but it wasn't about him. Mm-hmm. And then I would notice like they were happier, they were lighter. And I think it's just an energy shift in the house, because even though we didn't scream and do all that things, it was the silence forever and being in separate rooms and all that they,
and then the kids didn't know, like,
and they never commented or brought it up, but they're super smart. So when that was alleviated, they were just so much happier. Like we were in here playing games and we can do whatever, it was so much easier than what I ever envisioned, which was like, why did I wait so long? But it's just fear, like, because you don't know what's going to happen. But it was absolutely the right choice.
But I think that you just, like, it is fear, but also, like, it's, to be real, like, my kids struggled, and I'd have an older one and a younger one, so it's, like, total different, spectrums there, 17 and 3. So, watching the struggles that they went through for the initial shock, because they go through initial shock factor too, it's hard to watch. It's hard to get through those moments. Now that we're, several months down the road, and now I can see the turnaround and do see my kids thriving. And, I'm getting reports from school, that the little one is communicating better, and my older one seems to be, overall in a better mood, and I'm trying to be intentional with him, you just figure out like what each one needs, but it is difficult to watch the struggle, because they will, they are going to go, they are going to go through that struggle.
Polar different experiences, which I'm glad we were there to lean on each other for. But sometimes I
feel so left out because y'all didn't lean on me.
We do lean on you. You're here listening to us complain all the time. You get to hear it.
Just checking. I do love you guys, though.
We just waited a few weeks.
And just because we went through a separation and a divorce, Maria, doesn't mean, like.
No more couples trips.
Well, it does mean
girls trips only.
Girls trips
only. I'm sorry. Like maybe a European girls trip now. But even chatting about.
But it doesn't mean like the struggles that we went through leading up to that are still struggles that every couple goes through. In every marriage,
but
right?
Do you know why the couples trips were so fun? Because I had y'all. Like thank God. Like. Because, like, I feel like the times we had so much fun were just, like,
us together.
Yeah, like, us even Costa Rica and Bali. Like, it was just, that was what it was to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, more girls trips.
More girls trips.
This house.
Vegas. Vegas was a
Vegas
good little
was fun. I
kickoff.
was like, are we going back?
Yes, we were talking about it
I think
yesterday.
we should make an annual
I think we
Vegas
need
trip.
an annual Vegas
Vegas
trip
trip.
because that was.
But that's so funny. We think about girls in Vegas, girls trip in Vegas. You think we'd be out in the pool hanging out? No. We go shopping and eat and sleep.
We really did. Hey, we did Usher though.
Oh no, that was amazing.
We did do Usher.
I felt like I should have had a timer on you, Maria, at the bar, because you were like, it was a travel day for you because you came in, you had like responsibilities, but you tried to be a gangster, but you kept going like, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm waiting.
But I didn't go back up to the room for like another 2 hours. I was hanging in there.
You were
hanging in there.
You were hanging.
You were hanging pretty good.
Next
Yeah. Yeah. So
Next
this house is gone in like a week.
I can't believe it.
Gone. She gone.
But this is the last thing that's holding you.
That's what I'm excited for.
It's
the last thing.
It's the last string, not the the last attachment.
Besides our children, like.
Well, of course, besides.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last thing that we have like intertwined.
Yeah. So for new beginnings.
It's new beginnings.
So what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to
Just
eating G's food every day.
And looking forward to staying at my house. We'll have bestie
looking
nights
forward
every
to
night.
like bestie nights in the week and hanging out and like girls dinners, and I'm having fun. Like I've always heard about blending families and stuff, and it's actually been really fun. Like to hang with like his daughter's 15, so we get like, my kids are only there every other weekend. She's there feels like more sometimes. So her and I get time to hang out and shop and do girly things and like really work on our like connection. And then it's fun when they're all there because it's loud and they're all like, hanging out and like they're getting along really well. And I don't know, it's just.
I feel like you had the long end of the stick. Like I'm serious. Like I didn't think that it would happen this fast, and yet alone it's perfect. Like it was like the perfect piece of your puzzle.
It was, and this is can I say something that's gonna sound so bad? Yes?
Sure. We're
be
keeping
real?
it real.
Okay,
Keeping it all the way real.
him and I dated when I was 21.
So it's a rekindle.
So
Yeah.
So we dated when I was 21. We dated for just shy of 10 months, so not that long, but we had like the best time. So they've always been like seared in my brain, and I've always like had a little side eye on him. Like, what's he doing? Like I would like creep did anybody do that? Like, can I say that? I mean, I was married
I don't think
for a long time, but I would still like creep every now and then. Like, I know somebody out there does it.
Trent was like my only real relationship.
Right. So for me, like, because nothing bad, we never had an argument, nothing bad ever happened. We just ended on like timing purposes in our life, that it wasn't like there was no like closure for me. So it was like I had a little like.
God was like, you don't need him right now.
And I just feel like it was a timing thing because we always got along so well. So like we never, I never did anything wrong in my marriage. I just always had that little like wonder because it was fun. And like, especially in the really hard times of my marriage, like my mind would go there like, well,
did you ever watch the show on Netflix called Sex Life and how she kept going, like thinking about?
Yes. I did. I can totally relate. I had to stop watching it. But we have similar, like our birthdays are in the same month. Brylan and Haley are the same age, and their birthdays are in the same like week, and we all have birthdays in that same week. So Brylan, me, G, Haley, like we all have the same. So that would be our connection point once every year or so. Like, happy birthday! I hope you and Brylan had a good birthday, and I'd be like, oh, I hope you and Haley had a good birthday, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I would kind of like keep it like that because I was being respectful. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as my divorce, like as soon as we filed, girl, I was like, hey.
You slid in his DMs.
I slid in his DMs. I was like, please, Lord, don't put me on a dating app.
Oh my God. When I said I was dating, she was like, what?
I was
like, what? You're dating? And I'm like.
So I didn't want to tell her that I texted him. And so we're like
Oh, the truth comes out
talking,
now.
and then she started talking about possibly starting dating. I was like, oh my gosh, well, I got to tell you something. So I actually texted this guy, and so I told her about it. And I mean, there's more to that story.
Yeah.
But our story's kind of cool. So then I was like, am I fantasizing this? Because it was so long ago. It was 21 years ago.
And you didn't think it would be
So I'm like, what will it be like? So we just chatted for a little while. And then we met for lunch one day, and the lunch turned into like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then
I have her
every lunch,
location, so I'd be like, you've been at this place for like 6
Lunch and dinner.
hours. I'm like, lunch has passed.
and
It's
that's
dinner
how
time.
we are when we talk. Like we just, it's like that all the time. Like we always have a funny, like something, like we can talk forever, which is nice because I love to talk. You know what I mean? So,
well, I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, I have no exes. I would be like, no.
I don't know. That's just my story. And
I was like a serial dater before my marriage. I was like 3 months, 6 months. I think the longest I'd been was 9 months in a relationship.
That's why I hate to say the story, because I don't want to sound like a cheater, because I'm definitely not a cheater.
You were
It's
already
just
filed for
honest in the
divorce
back of
and
my
separated,
mind.
you know?
It's just being honest. Like it was just somebody, no closure, back of my mind. Like, wow, we got along so well. What if?
Did y'all sign a backup plan when y'all like went 2 separate ways when you were?
We did not, but I think we always kind of knew. And if we have time, I want to tell a really crazy story.
Okay,
Go ahead. Come on.
We'll
so
finish with that.
So him and I are friends on Facebook, and we've always been friends on Facebook. He doesn't like social media. He never posts or anything. Like anytime I would go look, there's nothing. Like it's not going to give me any info, right? So I'm like, I'd look and be like, eh. But where I'm going with that is we were friends, right? And this is the crazy thing that trips me up in my mind. So he sent me lots of messages via Facebook Messenger for years. Mm-hmm. And I never got them. They went to, I didn't know.
The other folder.
I didn't know there was another folder until last year. I had a client message me like, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you. I sent you messages. And one of the girls at my studio was like, well, have you looked at message requests and spam? And I was like, what? And so they're showing me how to do it. And I do it, and boom, like there's all these messages. Like there's songs like that we used to listen to. Like he would just send it, or how are you? Or like when the tornado in my hometown went through and like destroyed my hometown, he like was checking on my family and stuff like that. Like they were all there. But my question is, why did it go to the spam folder if we were friends?
God didn't want you to see it yet.
That's right.
And I was like, is this
It's like divine intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy because the other day
because if y'all are friends, it wouldn't be
right. If we're friends, I'm like, it's not like I unfollowed or like we weren't friends. Like, why did I not get these messages? I'm really hurt about it now. Like,
and I honestly think too, like, and whatever, it's probably not going to be popular, but I feel like if you were truly with your person and the person you were meant to be with, you would have never had those thoughts because you would have been fulfilled within your marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's why I don't have those thoughts.
Yeah.
I think about my past exes.
You
like,
have
no.
a super happy marriage. Our marriage struggled. Our marriage struggled. You know, like deep struggled for a longer than I would probably want to admit.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's so crazy because he sent me screenshots of all of them the other day, and he was like, "Oh, so I didn't miss you. I didn't want to talk to you. Blah blah blah." And they were never like crossing the line. They were just like little touch points.
Yeah.
And I never saw them until like a year later, and then I was like, really like, why did these go to spam? Like then I was like, well, I don't want to reply now. That's been years.
Yeah.
Like, and he would even say like, am I blocked? Am I this?
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't blocked.
Yeah.
So
he thought that you were just ignoring him.
he did. He thought I was like ignoring him the whole time.
But
it's so cute because to like talk to him now and he'll say like, she's my person. Like she's always been my person. Like, you know what I mean? Like without a shadow of a doubt, I will be with her for the rest of my life. Like those are the things that he says. And
I'm telling you that like, man like loves me.
He loves your dirty draws.
He loves
ending that with the
everything about me. So I don't know. I just think that's interesting. Not that I'm a cheater.
Yeah.
I pride myself on not being a cheater.
Are you ready to pack your dirty
did
drawers?
I make it through a whole episode? You didn't bring the cuss jar?
I didn't even need it, but I'm going to bring it
I think
out.
I made it without saying one cuss word.
I think you were like making an
No,
effort.
it's because it's your shades. Maybe the other shades were like your.
I don't know.
Let's put the other shades on.
Let's put the other shades back on.
Your hater blockers on.
My hater blockers.
Okay, so that was fun.
Yeah,
I hope I didn't say too much.
Let's go pack your dirty drawers.
And send them over to the house over there.
You guys, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our, what is this, funeral sesh?
Yeah. It's all
Follow
about.
us on all socials, Got Her Back Podcast, except for
Facebook.
Twitter and Facebook, which is Got Her Back Show. Till next time, guys.
That's a wrap.